Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's time for another sketchbook tour. I just finished up this Strathmore Tone Tan sketchbook, so every page is full, and I'll be finishing up this sketchbook tour in here, which this is a new sketchbook. I kind of mentioned it in my last one. The paper is really cool. Slight differences between the Strathmore, so I'll kind of talk about that a little bit. The sketches in here, we'll start out, this was where I left off my last sketchbook tour, and these are character concepts from the book series I'm reading, which is The Blade itself is the first book, but it is the First Law series, and it is, if you haven't read this, it's awesome. I'm on book 3 right now, which is this one, and I've read both of these, so super cool books. I totally recommend this. This saved my creative mojo recently. So these are characters from the books, Shanka or Flatheads. I feel like this guy really nailed it a little bit, or was the closest. But as I read the book further and got further along, my ideas kind of changed a little bit. So this first drawing is another version of them. And I have a good description. I love trying to draw these characters from the books because there's not a whole lot of reference material for them. So you get to kind of like work as if you were working for the author or somebody or a movie studio and say, you know, what do they look like? But this was another version I did. And this is kind of, I don't know, I feel like pretty close, maybe. I'd love to get a better description of like from the author, like what exactly, or his idea of what they look like. But they have like big brows, beady little eyes, teeth that kind of jut out everywhere. And they have like gray skin. So if you can imagine that, but this drawing, I'm using these Nico Pro pencils, mechanical pencils. I got this set on Amazon for like 15 bucks. It worked great so far. So if you're looking for a cheap set of mechanical drawing pencils, I can definitely recommend these. They've worked great so far. So next drawing, Pharaoh Malgin. She's a main character, very cool character. She's half demon, has like yellow eyes. This was my first attempt at her. I'll do more versions of her because I feel like this didn't really, I mean, it's kind of, these are the visions I see in my head as I draw. And so, you know, everybody when they read a book has their own interpretation of maybe what a character, maybe a personality they met in their past that they kind of envisioned for that character. So this was my first kind of take on that, just drawing from imagination. The main character is Logan, or I call him Logan because I hated calling him Logan because I'm a huge Wolverine fan, or at least I grew up. So it bugged me that his name was Logan, but apparently you pronounce his name Logan. He's like a big Northman, like Viking type guy, thick, long dirt, like just grizzled face that's been through battle. So this was my kind of first attempt at him. Very basic, but I just wanted to show, you know, big, thick wrists. This guy is strong as hell, and he's such an awesome character. 9 fingers is what they call him, and he's only got 9 fingers. He's missing his middle finger on his one hand. So that was kind of my version of that. And that is it for the Strathmore Tone Tan. Now, getting into this sketchbook right here, I'll do a full sketchbook review on this as I get a little further. I'm kind of experimenting, as you'll see in these sketches. This is the first page. The tooth of the paper, this is smoother paper. So the pencil is going to look a little different on it than the Strathmore Tone Tan. I really like it. I love how smooth it is. It's a little thicker too, which, so you can see some of these sketches here just with the 0.5 lead pencil. These were just kind of random character sketches from my imagination. But then I wanted to experiment with some markers. And the nice thing about the paper is, one, it's really smooth. So the markers go across it, and it's a little thicker. And I feel like it doesn't soak up as much ink with the markers. So working with markers on this is much better. The only thing I would say is that it's a little bit more tan, like brown, saturated, a little warmer than the Strathmore. So you're going to get a little bit more of that brown showing through on your colors, since markers are transparent. So that's something to think about, but I like that. I love warmer drawings. So this was just kind of a random character sketch. This is another attempt at 9 fingers. You can see he has his 9 fingers. Spent a little bit more time sketching on this one, again, from imagination. But so this character is really interesting because he's a really relatable, cool, older brother kind of character. When I say that, I mean like he's just thoughtful, but looks like a total beast kind of guy. But then when he's 9 fingers, because he's Logan, when he's kind of just walking around and interacting with the group, but then when battle starts or he gets hurt and things like that, he really becomes this different person, like a total savage killer that loves to kill. He calls it doing his work when he's killing. And I mean, just chopping things to pieces, ripping guts out, that kind of stuff. Just a total badass. And this was a part in the book that I thought was kind of interesting, where it's nighttime and they have to kill these dudes, and it's a very sci-fi fantasy world type setting with these big orbs that are on this grassy landscape. So that was kind of a fun one to draw. This is a random kind of orc character. It wasn't necessarily a flathead. I did this in the live drawing. This is the more finished version of it. I screwed up. I made his hair way more because it looked way too combed in the previous one. But this one's okay. There's actually one thing I wanted to do on this. Get rid of that line right there completely. That did not need to be there. See, way better. Get rid of that too. Sometimes we over clutter drawings and stuff with details that actually detract from it, versus keeping it simple. That's a good lesson. So in just 2 seconds, I feel like you guys learned something and I realized I needed to change that while I was filming this. But this was kind of a cool character. I'm really liking getting back to drawing with pencils. So one thing I did on this is this whole right side over here, which I would do this transition way better. I just rushed through it. But I love this. I would call it like Frank Frechetta type style, where you don't need detail everywhere. So the way this leg kind of comes forward, you can really see the muscles, and it's really, detailed in how it's modeled. It really stands out because I didn't add detail to this. So focal areas where you add detail, when you don't have a lot competing with those, it's good to have, it's called like resting eye areas of your drawing, where you don't need tons of detail. The drawing is better without a bunch of cluttered detail. So that one's kind of cool. This, I was experimenting with colored pencils. So these are all just brown colored pencils, Prismacolor. And I just wanted to see how they did on the paper, which I think colored pencil on this paper is super amazing with no tooth, because I love a very smooth transition with my colored pencils. I think they look really cool. The problem with colored pencils that I've always had is they take forever. So a drawing that I do with colored pencils takes a million years. So with just graphite, if I'm just doing a drawing, I do one pass. I'm like, oh, done with that, right? But that same arm, I have to go over it multiple times, like to smooth it out, to add another color, so it's like twice as long as regular pencil. Here's some more marker sketches. These are markers mixed with Bic pen. You should know if you follow my channel, but maybe you're seeing it for the first time. I just use regular, super cheap Bic pens to do my sketching, so no pencil at all. I love sketching with Bic pens. I think I actually like it the most. One of the things about this new resurgence in my channel is deciding what I like to work with. I don't have to only use Bic pens, but man, I love drawing with them. And I love drawing with markers. It's just very satisfying. It's fast. I can do a lot of cool looking stuff with it really quickly, which for me, a lot of the fun in art is creating ideas. So I really love it. But my favorite character that I've drawn in a long time, as far as just conceptual, is this guy right here. Love the form of him. Everything, the way the face slopes down, moves into the body. Love the beak. on this guy, which was just kind of random. These are random ideas. I make lines and see kind of what it turns into, and I really love that guy. Colors, I could do a bunch of different colors on this guy too. And this was another attempt at a flathead. This actually I think might be my closest, because they do have a pig snout. So that was one thing the other sketches of flatheads didn't have. They have a huge brow and they have like a pig nose, and then they've got these teeth that kind of jut everywhere. So I actually thought this is what one might really look like. So here's kind of a random Viking sketch. I just used markers and purple Bic pen to sketch this. Just kind of messing around with shadows and things like that. This gets a little, I don't know. I feel like there's detail in there. And then you've got this purple, but I think it might have actually been better if there was no detail at all and only just flat matte purple. So I feel like the details kind of detract from that shadow area. Some just red Bic pen sketches. These are just random sketches that I decided to do. That head is pretty freaky. So, but yeah, nothing crazy there. And then here's more random sketches, just doodling. Sometimes I just need to do doodle pages, and that's what this one is. Kind of a Viking guy climbing up this cliff over here, and then a bunch of little random characters with Bic pens. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for the sketchbook tour. Yeah, so not a ton of sketches, but like I said, I'm really, some of these sketches I definitely spend a lot more time on in here, especially like this one took a little bit of time. So, and this, right now I'm really enjoying this paper. It's amazing. I plan on doing some really cool illustrations of the book. So as I get a little further along, when I'm finished with this, I want to do like one of those where you have like the main character, kind of like movie poster style or something like that, where you have a montage of all the different characters in there. I think that'll be super fun to do some really finished artwork. So I plan on doing some, for the first time in a while, okay, this is a done piece, not just sketches and things like that. And to really see how far I can take my art with something like that and really spend some quality time doing a piece that I can be proud of. So anyway, that's the video, you guys. If you haven't checked out this book series, or if you've never read it, you're in for a treat. So this is one of those books where I recommend like anybody read it. It is so good. The characters are so amazing. So, and like I said, I mean, this kind of brought me back into the whole drawing every day, drawing characters that I'm inspired by. I just needed inspiration, and this helped me out a lot. So I'm not getting anything from this book series or anything. I know I'm promoting it a lot, but that's only because when you find something that helps you so much, you don't care to get anything from it. You just want other people to kind of enjoy it the same way you did. So that's the video, guys. Hope you liked it, and thanks for watching.